My sister, Rihanna Jets, yes, that Rihanna Jets, queen of control freaks and president of the all-important, overly stressful drama competition, was basically losing her mind. Why? Because the girl she cast as the female lead, gone, vanished, poof, apparently off to the countryside for some family emergency, or mental healing, or cow-hugging therapy, I don't know. So now Rihanna's storming around the house, pacing like she's running a presidential campaign instead of a high school play. I'm just minding my business, trying to eat cereal in peace, when she slams her hand on the table and yells, "I got it." Cue my spoon falling dramatically. Her master plan, me, yes, me, Ronnie Jets, the sacrificial goat, the chosen tribute. Look, I know people say I'm too pretty for a guy. I've heard that, "You'd make such a cute girl," comments more than I've heard my own name. But that does not mean I want to wear a dress, heels, a wig, and pretend to be Juliet 2.0 for 2 months. But Rihanna, oh, she didn't care. She begged, pleaded, promised me unlimited snacks, even threatened to cry, and when that didn't work, she pulled the guilt trip. "You're the only one I can trust, Ronnie, please, I need you." Drama queen meets drama king. At first, I was like absolutely not. Week 1, denial. Week 2, rage. By week 3, I gave in, partly because I was bored, partly because acting is kinda my thing, mostly because my face apparently does match the female lead too perfectly, and Rihanna wouldn't shut up about it. And okay, maybe because I wanted to wear the dress once. For the drama, biggest mistake of my life. Or maybe, the start of the most chaotic love story I never asked for. So here I was, in the dressing room of the drama club. Surrounded by chaos, emotion, lip gloss, my sister Rihanna was pacing like a mad director. Her best friend Sarah, the glam guru of this whole operation, was ready with her makeup brush like it was a magic wand, and Jonathan, the semi-president of the club and a walking, blushing encyclopedia, stood awkwardly near the door pretending not to stare at me. Sarah was already in full artist mode, patting my face, humming dramatically like she was painting the Mona Lisa. After 30 minutes of makeup, styling, and lots of, "Hold still, Ronnie," I stood in front of the mirror and, dear diary, I almost passed out. I looked like a girl. No, I looked like that girl. The white blouse peeked under the soft, light brown dress that stopped right at my knees. A pair of short heels that made me wobble like a baby deer. And the wig, long, soft waves in a warm brown, brushing past my shoulders like I was born with it. My usual black hair looked like a distant memory. Add the soft eyeliner, a pink tint on my lips, and the light blush Sarah applied like a masterpiece. Honestly, I looked gorgeous. I didn't even need to add much, Sarah said, arms crossed and smug. He's already too pretty. No need to thank me, though I will accept praise. I blinked at the mirror, tugging awkwardly at the dress and flicking the wig. I look fake, like a Disney princess who's lost in a boy's locker room. You look real enough to cause 5 breakups, Rihanna muttered, stepping back, hand on her chin like she was evaluating artwork. Then she narrowed her eyes and added, "Okay, but seriously, explain to me how the hell are you prettier than me?" I rolled my eyes. "Don't be dramatic. No, this isn't drama, this is betrayal," she said, spinning to Jonathan like she was seeking backup. "Jonathan, back me up here. Isn't he prettier than, life?" Jonathan jumped slightly, adjusting his glasses like they'd just betrayed him. You're prettier than most girls have seen." I blinked. He blinked. Sarah and Rihanna burst out laughing, loudly, rudely. Me, I just stared at myself in the mirror again. This wasn't me. This was Veronica. Gosh. Anyway, whatever. Just tell me about the script and all before I change my mind again. Also, does everyone know about this? And who's the male lead? I asked, arms crossed like I was about to file a formal complaint with the drama gods. Rihanna clapped her hands. "Oh, yes. Jonathan will hand you the script." Jonathan stepped forward awkwardly, holding a neat folder like it contained the secrets of the universe. "And," Rihanna added quickly, voice dropping into full top secret mode, "only the 3 of us know. No one else can find out. Not even the male lead." I blinked. "Wait, what? Why?" "Because," she said, throwing her arms dramatically in the air. "What if the male lead feels awkward acting romantic with you after knowing you're a guy? What if it ruins the chemistry? We need it to feel natural. So, secret identity mode, on." Sarah nodded like a proud spy. It'll actually help your performance. You'll be in the role all the time. It'll start to feel real. I groaned. So, I have to act like a girl all the time. Every day, in front of everyone. Like, actually live as Veronica. Yes, Sarah said, chipper as ever. It'll help you think like a girl. Feel like a girl. You'll become Veronica. I don't know whether to feel honored or personally attacked. You'll thank us later when you're standing on stage like a star, Rihanna added smugly. I sighed dramatically, Oscar-worthy sigh, by the way, and took the folder from Jonathan. It was thick but clean, titled in big letters. Falling Leaves, one-act romance by Rihanna Jets and Company. I flipped a few pages. It was surprisingly good. Really good. The dialogue was sharp, emotional, the story had depth, and the confession scene at the end gave me goosebumps. Okay fine, my sister was a genius. I hated admitting it. While I was leaning against the counter, flipping through the script, hair tied in a loose ponytail, mentally reciting lines and trying to feel the part, Sarah casually dropped a bomb on me. The male lead just arrived. I looked up like she'd just told me the school caught fire. Oh, cool, I said, pretending to be normal. Calm, composed, like I wasn't internally combusting. I was ready, really. I'd practiced my smile, perfected my girl voice, and even adjusted my sitting posture like a delicate flower. But then he walked in, and everything inside me screamed, "You have got to be kidding me." It was him, none other than Xander freaking Cross. Campus heartthrob, living Greek statue, icy prince of every department. Drama club's god-level actor with zero patience for nonsense and probably even less for people like me. Tall, sharp cheekbones, jawline that could cut diamonds, eyes deep enough to drown in, and somehow colder than an iceberg. He looked like he walked straight out of a high-budget perfume commercial. Dressed in black jeans, crisp white t-shirt, black jacket casually open, one hand in his pocket, hair styled to absolute deadly perfection. I swear my brain short-circuited. This was the guy the first had to act romance scenes with. God, please kick me out of this dream. Or life, whichever's faster. Sarah nudged me, whispering like it was a horror movie. Don't be scared, he doesn't bite. Jonathan added from behind, he just stares. And stare he did. Xander entered with the calm of someone who owned the world. He greeted Rihanna and Sarah with that low, smooth voice of his. I felt that in my kneecaps, I'm not joking. And then his eyes landed on me. Sharp, focused, cold. My soul immediately packed its bags and tried to exit my body. I smiled nervously, trying to look innocent and girly and nod like a dude in a dress having a full-blown identity crisis. He didn't say a word, just nodded slightly, which, in Xander language, probably meant, I acknowledge your existence. For now, welcome, I stuttered, voice higher than it needed to be, clutching the script like it could save my life. His gaze lingered for a moment longer before he turned away. And I officially decided I was doomed. No, wait, don't mess up, be a girl. Be a lady, walk like a lady, smile like you're not dying. You are beauty, you are grace, you are, ow, this bra itches. Wait, why the hell am I wearing a bra in the first place? Gosh, but, no time to worry about that now. Act cool, act natural, stand up straight as Xander approaches. Oh God, why is he so perfect? Somehow, our eyes locked. Oh no, he's hot. So hot, why is he so hot? Like, damn, Xander's gaze was steady, unreadable, his face like a cold sculpture. Then, his voice, flat as always, cut through the air. Who the hell are you? I forced the words out. Veronica Jets, I'm new, just transferred from, Lady Academy of Girls and Femininity. Oh my God, why does my voice sound so high? Not like I planned. Nailed it, I heard Rihanna shout from behind, probably hiding behind a curtain or something. I didn't dare look back. I smiled awkwardly, holding my ground despite my inner panic. Xander didn't move, just stared. What's your actual name? His voice was cold, as usual. Ronnie, I blurted out, immediately regretting it. Fuck me, I could feel Sarah behind me slapping her forehead. That's a guy name. His eyebrows shot up. So what, are you judging my name now? I tried to act cool, arms crossed. Are you genderizing my name? He blinked. Is genderizing even a word? Xander frowned, his expression so deadpan I could barely tell if he was annoyed or confused. So, you're the new love interest of mine. I nodded confidently, crossing my arms. Only on stage for the drama. Xander's gaze flicked over me, a low, almost unnoticeable nod. Right, a beat of silence. And then, without warning, he just stared at me. Eyes roaming down my body from top to bottom. What the hell? Does he know? Does he see it? Is the illusion breaking? Is my stubble showing? Xander finally spoke, breaking the tension. Your hair looks odd. So's your attitude. I shot back without thinking. He frowned immediately, probably wondering if I was crazy. I gulped. Okay, chill, Ronnie. You got this. Yeah, I forgot to brush my hair. Haha. I awkwardly held my wig in place like it would help. Xander stared at me for a long moment. He nodded ever so slightly, his eyes still cold. Yep, he thinks I'm a dramatic mess. Perfect. I'm sure I've already made a lasting impression. Jonathan then approached us, giving us the heads up. Alright, guys, we're going to do a quick scene. Just a sneak peek to see if the chemistry works. Xander barely spared a glance in my direction, a cool nod, and then walked off. Rude. I rolled my shoulders back, taking a deep breath. Be cool. Act well. Don't let your feelings get the best of you. Don't overact. Don't trip. Don't fart. That's it. Just don't mess up. We stepped onto the stage, and I stood in front of Xander, who was still his usual calm, unreadable self. Honestly, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little nervous. Rihanna, Sarah, and Jonathan sat in the front row, eyes on us like hawks. I held my prop letter, my hand trembling ever so slightly. I inhaled, trying to find my focus, then finally Jonathan called, action. I straightened, looking off into the distance as I began. I waited by the window. For 7 winters, my tears froze upon my cheeks. My soul wept like a, Ronnie, just say the damn line. Rihanna screamed from the seats, cutting me off mid-sentence. Okay, deep breath, ignore her. I turned my attention to Xander, feeling my heart race. I could do this. Quote. Does your heart not tremble, knowing I suffered for your love? I said, trying to sound as dramatic as possible. Xander, as cool as ever, eyes half-lidded, responded flatly. That's not even in the script. I shrugged, keeping it natural. Well, maybe it should be. Rihanna, clearly losing patience, shouted again, Ronnie, shut up and act. Sarah, sipping her latte, barely glanced up, casually patting Rihanna's shoulder as if this was a routine. Jonathan, sitting beside her, was probably regretting his life choices at this point. But hey, at least I wasn't making a total fool of myself, right? Later, it was time for the iconic scene. Of course, I had to jump from a high table, and Xander was supposed to catch me. Why do I always have to do the jumping? I swear, if I fall and die, bury me in sequins, I muttered, sitting on the edge of the table, my legs dangling, trying to keep my balance. Xander rolled his eyes, cutting me off before I could get any more dramatic. You're not gonna die. I wobbled on the edge, pretending to be fragile. You don't know that. I am very fragile today. Actually, I am always soft, fragile, and pretty. He didn't even glance at me, just continued giving orders. On 3, jump. I took a deep breath and then, I jumped. Xander caught me effortlessly, not even flinching. It was like he'd been doing this for years. We landed with me on top of him, and he had his hands around my waist, holding me in place. I froze, shocked. Did you just do a thing? Xander, as cool as ever, simply said, get up. We're done. I stood up, still trying to catch my breath. Rihanna approached me for the next scene. Ronnie, just act. Don't overact, and don't add lines. Why not? It's fun. I'm feeling her emotions, I said, crossing my arms in defiance. Rihanna sighed, clearly frustrated. No, Ronnie. This is serious. Keep it natural. And then the next scene was up. Veronica had just found out that Edward aka Xander was betrothed to another woman, and it was a heartbreaking moment. A silent, aching heartbreak that didn't need screaming or flailing. Just raw pain. I looked at the script again, feeling the weight of the scene, and really started to feel what Veronica would be going through. I could tell this was going to be one of those deep moments, and I had to make it count. Rihanna and Sarah exchanged glances, clearly having their own opinions, and then I heard Xander mutter under his breath, arms crossed, she can't act. All she's doing is being dramatic and overacting. That hit me harder than I expected. Dramatic. Was I really being that bad? I grabbed the paper tighter, trying to ignore the sting. Rihanna, seeing I was a little rattled, came over and gave me another warning. Okay, no flailing. No fainting, no pigeons, Ronnie. Just be still. Feel the scene. Let it breathe. Don't overdo it, or else I'll kick you. Don't ruin my reputation. I know you can do it well. Don't let anyone think low of you. I nodded softly, a little shaken but determined. Quote. Got it. I stole a glance at Xander, who was still looking as unbothered as ever, his face completely neutral. This was it. Time to prove I could actually pull this off. I stood opposite Xander, sensing the tension in the air. The lights dimmed, and I could hear the faint sound of the music setting the mood. Xander gave his usual stoic look, his voice calm. It was decided long ago. I'm sorry. I took a deep breath, my shoulder tensing slightly, my breath shaking ever so lightly. I spoke, my voice trembling just enough to show the pain, but not too much. Quote. But you promised me. Not in words, but every time you looked at me, I thought I was chosen. Turns out, I was just convenient. I was never special to you. Was I? A single tear slid down my cheek. As I squeezed my eyes shut. I suppose this is our last meeting. Goodbye, Edward. I turned away, my shoulders shaking, my lips tight, fighting back the tears. There was a long silence. Then I heard Sarah's voice, barely a whisper. Did Ronnie just act, also, that good? Jonathan clutched his chest. I think I believe in theater again. And my sister, who was tearing up, shouted, that's my brother. I mean sister. Shut up. Anyway, I told you he was a great actor, actress, whatever. I rolled my eyes as I heard them. Then I glanced up at Xander, who was unusually quiet, blinking slowly, staring at me. Did you intentionally act well just to prove my words wrong? He asked. I grinned, a mischievous smile spreading across my face. Maybe I did. Proving the campus cold, perfect heartthrob wrong is definitely a proud moment. I should get a reward. He blinked, but I didn't notice anything unusual, just his usual cool demeanor. Then Sarah, Rihanna, and Jonathan approached us, and Xander glanced away, his gaze softening just a little. You were incredible out there. What even inspired that performance? Sarah asked. I grinned. Taylor Swift. In the tragic emptiness of my stomach, I'm hungry. I said, pulling out a bag of chips from my bag. Sarah blinked. Iconic. Jonathan sighed, shaking his head, peak method acting, and handed me the biggest bag of chips I'd ever seen. I tore it open and devoured the chips like I hadn't eaten in days. Mouth full, I turned to Xander. Do you think I looked hot when I cried? Xander paused for a moment, clearly considering how to answer. That's not the word I'd use. I smiled cheekily, devastatingly gorgeous. He sighed, clearly trying not to laugh. Convincing. With that, he turned and left the scene before I could catch the tiny curve of his lips, hiding his smile. Finally, after all the chaos and drama, I stormed into the dressing room, yanking off the itchy dress, smudged makeup, and, of course, the bra. How do girls wear this willingly? And how do they breathe? Still aware that someone could barge in at any moment, I hurriedly slipped into a t-shirt and jeans, threw on the wig, tied my hair just right, and prepared myself to escape and collapse at home. I was exhausted, soul, body, and most importantly, stomach. Are you not going now? I asked Rihanna as she sat flipping through script pages like a maniacal director in denial. No, I'll go later. Jonathan's dropping me. You head out first. Take Xander with you, he has a car. I blinked. Why the hell would I want that? I can go myself. And then, as if summoned by cursed fate, a tall figure appeared beside me. Rihanna looked up innocently. Xander, can you drop her, him, her, whatever? I flinched. Betrayal, panic, doom. His eyes shifted to her, then to me. Do you two live together? He asked flatly. Rihanna didn't even blink. Oh, didn't I mention? She's my cousin. Smooth. Almost too smooth. Xander just nodded, then muttered, let's go, barely glancing at me before walking away. I glared daggers at Rihanna before following him, triple-checking my wig and outfit like my life depended on it. The drive was silent. One hand on the wheel, the other on the gearshift, classic brooding boy driving position. I sat beside him, silently gulping, too afraid to look at his unfairly perfect face. So, I watched the stars instead, pretending I was in a movie and not in a panic. When we reached my place, I bolted out of the car like the building was on fire. Thank you, I mumbled before running inside. Door shut, peace restored, wig and shoes, off. Shirt, midair. Ding dong. I froze mid-strip. Peeking through the peephole, my soul left my body. It was Xander. Why? Where's the wig? Why is it not on my head? Why did it betray me? I ran around like a headless chicken until I spotted the panda plushie on the couch. It had a big plushy mouth, which could technically be head-shaped. Desperation is the mother of creativity. I shoved my head into it, the panda mouth now awkwardly cradling my face. I took a deep breath and opened the door. Hi, Xander, you're here. I smiled like I wasn't slowly dying inside. Xander stared, visibly taken aback by the panda munching my skull. Your phone, he said, handing it to me. Oh my god, I forgot. Thank you. I hugged the phone like it was my child. Trying to be polite, I asked, do you wanna come in? No thanks, he said, but his eyes stayed on me for a beat too long before he turned and walked back to his car. I slammed the door, ripped the plush off my head, and collapsed against it. Of course he thinks I'm ridiculous. I've ruined my reputation. Again, I threw away the panda on the ground, and immediately gasped. No, I didn't mean it, baby, I'm sorry. I ran over, scooped the plushie into my arms, and kissed it repeatedly. Forgive me, bestie, I love you, you're my emotional support panda. I'll never betray you again. And thus ended my Oscar-worthy meltdown. I spent the whole night memorizing my lines, practicing alone like a sleep-deprived lunatic in my room. When morning came, waking up felt like a fight for survival. I dragged myself to class, eyes half open, soul fully gone. Jay, my best friend and only source of sarcasm, draped his arm over my shoulder. You look like death. Didn't sleep. I shook my head. I'm tired. I wanna disappear. Same, he said, patting me like I was a puppy on its last breath. I couldn't focus at all in class. My brain was busy juggling lines, stress, and the panic of possibly forgetting to shave. Jay left halfway through, saying he had work. I left for the shoot. Today was our first official practice with the full cast. New faces, real lights, actual acting. I got changed quickly, light pink top, jeans, hair tied into two cute little ponytails under a hat. Honestly, I looked adorable. I would date me. As I entered the set, I noticed something weird. Xander's stare, longer than usual, like, lingering. I didn't know if he was trying to figure me out or just liked the shade of pink I wore. Either way, I ignored it, hyping myself up for the scene. And then, boom, plot twist in real life. Another main lead entered. He was supposed to be a rival to Xander's character for my character's love. You know, the classic second lead who'd never win but still slay. Guess who it was? Jay. Freaking Jay. No one on set knew we were close. Not even Rihanna. He greeted everyone, smiling like he wasn't about to ruin my cover. Then Sarah led him over, pointing at me. Jay glanced, stared, and his face dropped. Panic mode. On. Ronnie, he muttered, blinking like a confused squirrel. I need a break. I blurted and yanked his arm, dragging him to a corner, not noticing as Xander watched us leave, his expression darkening. Once we were hidden, I cornered Jay. Don't freak out. Yes, I'm the female lead. Rihanna made me do it. No one knows it's me. Only Rihanna, Jonathan, Sarah, and now you. So shut up and play your role. Be professional. Jay stared at me like I'd grown two heads. Then he burst into laughter and nodded. Dude, this is gonna be fun. When we came back, everyone was chatting about the next scene. I glanced at Xander. His energy was off. What's up? I asked, stepping beside him. He looked at me, eyes sharp. Do you know him? Yeah, Jay, he's my close friend, I said casually. You study here? He asked. Shit. Yeah, I replied awkwardly. I've never seen you before. I scrambled for something, anything. I mean, the campus isn't a tiny dollhouse. Plus, oh, you wanted to see me earlier, huh? I wiggled my eyebrows at him and leaned closer, grinning like a devil. He sighed and looked away, pushing me back by my forehead like I was a toddler trying to flirt. I giggled. I couldn't help it. Teasing him was way too much fun. The next scene was simple. Jay's character had to flirt with mine. Xander's character had to watch, silent, simmering. Easy on paper. A battlefield in reality. Jay stepped closer to me on cue, all charm and grins. You look beautiful today, he said, fingers brushing a strand of my wig behind my ear. I almost flinched. Almost. But I remembered the camera was rolling, and Xander's stare was boring into the back of Jay's head like lasers. Cut. Rihanna shouted. Jay, a little more tension. You're supposed to want her. Desperately. And Xander, jealousy, possessiveness, subtle but intense. Oh, no problem. That's just how he actually looks at Jay. Take 2. This time, Jay leaned closer, whispering in a voice only I could hear, he's totally glaring at me like he's about to murder me after this. I didn't respond. I was too focused trying not to burst into laughter or panic. Jay cupped my cheek gently, eyes soft. I've liked you for a while. That's when Xander stepped forward. Not part of the scene. Not scripted. Rihanna blinked. Xander. But he didn't stop. He stood between us, towering over Jay, jaw clenched. Sorry, I thought my cue was now. It wasn't. Let's do it again, Rihanna muttered, sighing. I stood in the middle of these two men, one my best friend pretending to like me, the other, not pretending anything at all. His every move screamed, mine. Back off. Jay chuckled under his breath. Why does this feel less like acting and more like I actually stole his girlfriend? Because you kind of did, I whispered. Jay gave me a side glance. You sure he doesn't know? Pretty sure. I think, I said, adjusting my ponytails. The next take, flawless acting, but behind every line, every stare, was something more. Jay's flirtation was filled with teasing tension. Xander's silence was loaded with unspoken fire. In me, I was stuck in the middle, wondering which part was scripted, and which part was real. After finishing the scene, Xander didn't say a word. Not to me, not to anyone. He sat in the corner, scrolling on his phone, that same moody, intimidating aura surrounding him like a storm cloud. Sure, he'd always had that dark vibe, but today it felt different. He looked actually mad, sharp, cold. I didn't dare bother him. Jay came over, casually chatting about the next scene like nothing was wrong. And then, he dropped a bomb. By the way, tomorrow's the last date to submit that assignment. You done with it? My eyes widened, the water bottle slipped from my hand and hit the ground with a dull thud. What? I gasped. Why didn't you tell me earlier? I grabbed his collar like I was ready to murder him on the spot. Jay laughed nervously, raising his hands. Hey, you never asked. I sighed dramatically, letting him go. My hand fell back to my side and I turned, only to meet Xander's eyes from across the room. His stare was colder than ever. Unblinking, sharp enough to slice through steel. I gulped, taking a tiny step back. The rest of the shoot passed with no scenes between us, which honestly made it worse. Later, I hesitantly walked over to him. Will you drop me off again today? I asked, voice small. He didn't even look up. Just a quiet, low hum. His eyes stayed glued to his phone. Not a glance in my direction. Not even a sigh. I sulked. In the car, silence hung between us like fog. I fidgeted with my fingers, glancing at him now and then. When we finally reached my place, I hesitated, hand resting on the door handle. I turned to him. Do you wanna come in for some coffee? We can maybe go over a few scenes too. I fully expected a blunt no thrown in my face. Instead, he turned off the engine. Finally looked at me. I froze, and then silently stepped out of the car. He followed. Inside, I awkwardly tried to lighten the mood. Make yourself comfortable. How do you like your coffee? Black, he replied, sitting on the couch with that same elegant posture, but his eyes fell on the panda plushie on the floor. Oh no, he remembered. The panda wig, last night, everything. I cleared my throat and scrambled to the kitchen in panic. I made him a strong black coffee. Mine was sweet with cream. I double-checked my hair, fixed my clothes, told myself to calm down. Returning with the cups, I handed his to him and sat beside him, stiff and nervous. Is it okay? I asked after he took a sip. He gave a low hum of approval. I immediately flipped my hair with pride. Of course it is. That's the only thing I'm good at. He glanced at me with an expression that screamed disbelief. You really think that's the only thing? He said, eyes fixed on mine. And I swear my heart just skipped 3 beats in a row. As I took a sip of my coffee, I glanced at him. Can you cook? I asked, pretending it was a totally casual question. He only hummed in response. I pouted dramatically. Will you cook for me? I'm hungry. He glanced at me with a look that screamed, who are you and why the hell would I cook for you? I rolled my eyes and looked away. Fine, forget it. Once we finished our drinks, we grabbed the scripts to rehearse. Staring at the lines, I took a breath and began, holding his hand dramatically. Edward, don't you know just how much my voice cracked, The words stuck in my throat. I couldn't say them. His eyes, those stupid, intense eyes, were doing things to me. Calm down, he said softly. No need to be nervous. Right, easy for him to say. I nodded, trying to breathe. Then I went for it again. Edward, don't you know just how much I love you? Was I just a plaything to you? I asked, locking eyes with him. His fingers moved, cradling my hand, his voice calm but full of something deeper. Do you think my emotions are that cheap? Don't you see what I feel for you? Does any of that seem like a game to you? His hand slid up gently, brushing my cheek. His gaze never left mine. I fell for you before I even realized it. It was fast, but it was real. I like you a lot. That's why I don't want anyone else getting close to you like I do. I hope you understand what I feel. His words, his voice, his touch, everything felt too real. My heart thumped in my chest. My skin tingled. I swore my goosebumps had goosebumps. Wow, I breathed. You're so good at acting. I almost believed you were serious. He didn't reply. His fingers were still soft against my cheek before he slowly pulled away, looking to the side. I followed his lead, turning my face too, trying to hide my racing heart. I didn't even notice the way he sighed quietly, a hand brushing over his face, like he was trying to shake something off. Something real. It was already late at night, and we were still going over our lines when suddenly. Growl. My stomach made the loudest sound imaginable, like it hadn't been fed in centuries. Oh my God, so embarrassing. Please pretend you didn't hear that, I groaned, clutching my belly. Xander looked at me, expressionless as always, but I swear I saw the tiniest flicker of amusement in his eyes. If smirking with just your eyes was a skill, he'd mastered it. What do you want to eat? He asked suddenly, catching me off guard. Huh, wait, are you actually going to cook for me? I blinked, stunned. Say it before I lose the mood, he replied flatly. Oh, maybe pasta. I chirped quickly, not wanting to miss my chance. He just hummed and stood up, his eyes asking where's the kitchen. I immediately sprang up and led him to it, still in disbelief. I watched him roll up his sleeves and start pulling out ingredients like he owned the place. Calm, composed, precise, every single move was smooth and graceful. He chopped veggies like a pro, moved around the kitchen like he belonged there. It was honestly mesmerizing. When he finished and served the dish, I was speechless. Whoa, this looks amazing, I breathed out, staring at the creamy carbonara pasta that looked straight out of a fancy Italian restaurant. I took a spoonful, blew on it, and tasted it. My taste buds exploded. Oh my God, this is so good. Like, unfairly good. I think this dish just gave my soul a reason to live, I gushed, shoveling in more with dramatic appreciation. He just watched quietly, then reached over and poured me a glass of water. This is seriously amazing. Where did you learn to cook like this? I asked between bites. I just do it in my free time, he said simply. I see, well, you should have some too. Without thinking, I lifted my spoon toward him. Then I froze, realizing I'd already eaten from it. Oh, sorry, I wasn't thinking. Before I could finish, he leaned in and ate straight from my spoon. Tastes perfect, he said, unfazed. My brain short-circuited. Even the way he chewed looked elegant. Was that even allowed? You're way too confident, I mumbled, trying to act unfazed. But, yeah, it's perfect, so I won't complain. Inside though, my heart was thumping like mad. He didn't just eat from my spoon. He didn't hesitate, and I wasn't sure how to calm my racing heartbeat now. So, a whole month passed. And honestly, would it be wrong if I say, I think I'm getting kinda close to Xander? I mean, he sees me now. He talks to me. He silently gives me snacks during practice, helps me run my lines, buys me drinks without even asking what I want, and drops me home like it's routine. And whenever we rehearse at my place, he cooks for me. Anything I want. Like, anything. We are way too close. And it's not just me. He seems into me more than he wants to admit. And oh, he totally hates Jay. Like, doesn't even pretend. One time during a scene rehearsal, my wig slipped and almost came off. Thankfully, before anyone noticed, Jay rushed over and pulled me into his chest, covering my face so I could fix it. I smiled and thanked him. But then, I glanced at Xander. And my soul left my body. His expression, dark, unreadable, scary, was something I'd never seen before. It made my breath hitch. He didn't say a single word after that. Not even while driving me home. When we reached, I stepped out, but then paused and bent down by the open window to look at him. "Don't be mad at me," I said softly. "I'm not mad at you," he replied calmly. "But you need to keep your distance from others." I blinked. "Oh, then should I distance myself from you too?" I teased with a smile, trying to lighten the mood. But he glared, not playfully, not joking. "You're not allowed to do that," he said, voice low, serious, intense. I just stood there, stunned, watching as he drove away. My heart pounding. Wow, it was the first day of a new month, and after shooting a scene, I casually headed to the changing room, needing to use the bathroom. This part always troubled me. I mean, I'm a guy, obviously, but since everyone thinks I'm a girl, thanks to playing Veronica, I'm expected to use the girls' washroom. Which is just so not right. Usually, Rihanna comes with me to make sure it's empty, or I just remove the wig and sneak into the men's washroom quickly. Today, I finally wore a regular t-shirt layered with an open shirt and jeans. No wig. For the first time in forever, I saw my actual black hair in the mirror. Honestly, I'd gotten so used to being Veronica that sometimes I forgot I was me. Even at home, I'd sometimes still have the damn wig on. Ruffling my black hair, I scrolled through my phone, walking toward the bathrooms, only to realize, out of pure habit, I had walked into the girls' washroom. I chuckled at myself and was about to walk out when I noticed something off. A guy was inside. Creepy vibes. Weird posture. Hiding in a stall. What the hell? My smile dropped. I stepped in, arms crossed. "Yo, what the hell are you doing in the girls' bathroom?" He flinched, caught off guard. "You're here too," he laughed, eyes raking over me. "Don't mind me. Just wanted to see some girls. But you're not too bad for a guy either. Pretty. You'd be perfect if you were just a bit more." His hand lifted toward me. Wrong move. I caught his wrist midair, twisted it behind him hard, slamming him onto the floor. He yelled in pain. Two girls who had been inside screamed and rushed out in shock. Chaos. Footsteps. Voices rising. I didn't care. My blood boiled. I punched him once, then twice. Kicked him while he was down. I couldn't stop. "Ronnie." That voice. My sister. I froze instantly, breath heaving. My knuckles stung. "Oh shit," I mumbled, slowly standing up, finally realizing everyone had gathered. And right in front, stood him. Xander. Expression unreadable, but his eyes, just slightly, held something. Like a shimmer. I don't know, but I know he saw me. Really saw me. Not Veronica. Me. Of course, security showed up, dragging the creep away. The girls I helped thanked me quietly. I only gave them a small, awkward nod. "You're Ronnie." Xander's voice broke through the silence, startling everyone. I panicked. No, I mean, I am Johnny." "Yeah," she probably mispronounced. "Right, Rihanna." I shot her a glare. She blinked and quickly nodded. "Why yeah, Johnny, totally." Xander just stared at me. Deep, intense, like he was trying to crack open my entire soul with his eyes. It made me fidget. My hands were throbbing. I let out a breath and ruffled my hair. "I'm gonna go." I turned to leave, caught Jay's eye, silently asking him to follow. He understood, trailing behind me, but I felt it. Xander's eyes, burning on my back. His face darkened, not in anger, something deeper. "God, it hurts," I hissed, as Jay gently dabbed my bruised knuckles in the dressing room. "Well, yeah, you went full WWE back there," he chuckled. "But, hey, at least someone saw the real you." "Right," I muttered, biting the inside of my cheek. I wonder what Xander thinks now. Does he still find me attractive? Or will being a guy make him keep his distance? Even though I want him to see the real me. If it means he'll stop treating me like he does now, then maybe I don't want to be a guy in his eyes. Not yet. It was a new day. I almost blurted out some ridiculous excuse for why my knuckles were bruised, but thank God, Xander bought it. We continued our practice like normal. Well, almost normal. Something felt off, or maybe different. His stares were longer than usual, lingering, his brows often furrowed, as if he was always deep in thought. And it was driving me insane. Anyway, today was the last day of practice. The drama is set to premiere next week. Yes, finally, we, the main cast, were all sitting around, talking and laughing in the common room. I absent-mindedly ran my fingers through my long wig hair, listening to Jay and Xander sat beside me, while Rihanna and Sarah were once again fighting like their lives depended on it. But the kissing scene would make it more heartfelt. Can't you see? After all the trouble and separation, they should kiss at the end. Sarah insisted, arms flailing for dramatic effect. Yes, but I don't want my my sister to lose her kiss for some scene, Rihanna snapped back, arms crossed. Wow, she finally remembered I had feelings. Touching, really. So yeah, now they were fighting like cats over whether there should be a kiss or not. Why don't we just end it with a hug and a forehead kiss? Jonathan suggested out of nowhere, making the room fall completely silent. Everyone looked at him. Forehead kisses are more expressive. Just have Edward, aka Xander, hug Ronnie tight and kiss her on the forehead. It's warm, emotional, satisfying. Everyone blinked, then nodded. I nodded too, not thinking much, until I casually glanced at Xander. He looked calm, too calm, but there was something in his expression, barely visible. Was that disappointment? I narrowed my eyes, leaning closer. What happened? Sad that you won't get to kiss me? I teased, wiggling my eyebrows at him with a smirk. He stood up, brushing off his pants. Opposite of negative, he replied smoothly as he walked away. I blinked. Wait, WTF. Was that a yes? He wanted to kiss me. And just like that, the day passed. It was finally the day, the grand finale. The drama we'd worked our asses off for was about to hit the stage. Seats were packed, crowds buzzing, students, guests, teachers, and probably a few random people who just wanted free AC. Rihanna, Sarah, and Jonathan were running around like headless chickens, panicking over every light cue and costume glitch. And me, I sat in the changing room, sipping juice. Chill, zen, inner peace activated. I mean, Xander and Jay were already ready. Being male characters, they didn't need layers of makeup and wigs and lashes that threatened to poke an eye out. Life was unfair. Life made me a guy, but this drama, it made me a girl. So here I was, sitting with my wig hair tied in a tight bun, in half costume, waiting for the madness to come to me. And it did. Out of nowhere, Sarah burst through the door like a wild beast on caffeine, snatched my juice right out of my hands like I committed a crime, and shoved me back into the makeup chair. Sarah, I am drinking that. No time, we're 5 minutes behind schedule and you still look like a boy, she screeched, practically attacking my face with brushes and powder puffs. I swear I screamed, I yelped, I whined. It was chaos, but in the middle of all that flailing, I caught something out of the corner of my eye. Xander, standing by the doorway, arms crossed, already in costume. His face as unreadable as ever. But his lips, curved up, a chuckle, a real one. It was small, barely there, but I saw it. I freaking saw it, and just like that, the nerves didn't feel so heavy anymore. I grinned despite my squashed cheeks. Because for some reason, that invisible smile meant everything. Soon, my getting ready session ended. Since I was the female lead, of course, I had to wear something absolutely beautiful, a soft, cute, velvety dress. My hair was left down with a few clips, makeup light, lips glossed with a soft tint. I look beautiful, I said, hands on my hips, admiring myself in the mirror. Aren't you too confident? Jay teased from behind. Am I lying? I asked, dead serious. He laughed. He couldn't deny it. I glanced at Xander. He was quiet, like always, just staring. I wasn't sure if he was admiring or deep in thought. Either way, it made my stomach flutter for the wrong reasons. Soon, the drama began. God, I was freaking out. I had to act in front of so many people. But just before the curtains rose, Xander gently placed a hand on my shoulder. Calm down. Ignore everyone, he said softly, just focus on the stage. His words grounded me. They were going to record the play too, release it on the school forum for votes and memories. Great, right, the play started. Scene by scene, it went smoothly, crowd cheering, eyes watching, hearts focused on us. And then, the final scene came. Our characters, Veronica and Edward, finally united after all the pain, all the drama. I was genuinely emotional, eyes slightly teary. Xander, playing Edward, held me with that gentle firmness, and we sat on the ground, as scripted. No more lines were left. But he suddenly added one. You're going to be mine from now on. Everyone in the backstage gasped, including me. Then, he gently cradled my face and kissed my forehead. The curtains dropped. Applause exploded. People cheering, screaming. But I didn't hear any of it. Behind the curtains, away from everyone's eyes, I stared at Xander. He looked back. Those eyes. Those were not Edward's eyes anymore. They were Xander's, and they were full of something so raw, so deep, love. Not the acting kind, the real kind, the kind you don't fake. He didn't hide it, not anymore. Instead of looking away, he stared deeper, his hand still holding my face. My heart pounded in my chest, and it felt like I was betraying him. No, wait, this can't, I muttered, barely breathing. You can't feel that for me. He looked confused, and I broke. I'm not a girl. Silence, total silence, even with the crowd still cheering behind us, it all faded. Like the world was suddenly deaf. Xander's eyes twitched slightly, disbelief surfacing. Before either of us could say more, Rihanna and Sarah came rushing in, breaking the moment, dragging him away. I stood frozen, numb. Rihanna hugged me. Sarah praised my acting, but it all felt like air. I could only stare at Xander, who now stood beside us. Calm as usual, but this time, the storm was all on his face. That disbelief, that confusion. Rihanna dragged us over for the post-show introductions. Most people hadn't even recognized me, not surprising. I was new, and dressed like that, but of course, the drama club head, who also happened to be my class teacher, noticed. "Ronnie, is this you?" I froze. Before I could say anything, Rihanna opened her big mouth. "The drama's over, no big deal," she said, and then snatched my wig off like it was a reality show. My shiny black hair fell down in a mess around my head. "Yep, this is him. My brother. I had to work so hard to make him look like a girl," Rihanna said proudly as the teachers laughed. I stood there, wide-eyed, hands fisted. I didn't look at Xander. I couldn't. Jay smacked his forehead. Sarah nearly attacked Rihanna, but Jonathan held her back with a sigh. And Xander? Don't ask me. I was too scared to even glance his way. Later, Rihanna realized what she'd done. She immediately rushed to explain things to Xander. But instead of saying anything, he simply said, "I want to talk to him." And now, here I was, finally dressed like me, jeans, a t-shirt, jacket. My black hair messy from everything as I walked to meet him, to the quiet, cold balcony of the stage building. The wind bit at my skin. I stood there, fists clenched. Xander looked at me, calm, cold. "Why'd you lie?" he asked. My heart hammered. "You could have just told the truth," he continued. A breath. "Was it fun, watching me run after you like crazy? In love with someone who didn't exist? Just an illusion, when all the things that pulled me in, belonged to you." "Not her, a him," I gulped. He sounded mad, hurt, like it physically pained him to say it. Then came the final blow. "Just forget it," he said, walking past me. His shoulder brushed mine as he left. And I didn't even notice when the tears I was holding in started falling. And luckily, the drama was a success. We actually got the highest votes and everything. But I couldn't celebrate. I was broken. More than 2 weeks had passed. Almost everyone knew now that I was the female lead. Of course, the news got out, so yeah, I went kind of viral too. Surprisingly, I wasn't criticized much, everyone liked and praised me. But Xander, I hardly saw him. Walking through the hallway, holding my bag strap, I realized I almost forgot how to smile. Sighing, I glanced up, only to see Xander. Surrounded by girls, as usual, though he wasn't paying them any attention. His eyes met mine. I immediately panicked and looked away, hiding. Jay, noticing right away, came and draped his arm over my shoulder, pulling me away. "Calm down, don't go broken again, we have a party tonight. Wanna tag along?" he said, clearly wanting to help me cheer up. I smiled and nodded, totally not noticing Xander, who hadn't been sleeping well these past few weeks, was glaring at us as we walked away, his glare darker and deeper than before. The party that night was lit, crowded, loud music and all. Jay joked a lot to cheer me up. I tried to forget things and had a few drinks before Jay handed me cake. Ah, my favorite. I happily began eating, like a child, when the crowd suddenly reacted, girls gasping and fangirling. I looked forward. Of course, it was him. "Xander, Xander," I whispered, still holding my fork like a kid. He walked toward me, eyes fixed on me. Instantly, he glared at the people beside me who were staring at me, I had no idea why. Rihanna and Sarah, standing behind me, had wide eyes and covered mouths as if their ship had just sailed. Without a word, Xander took my hand and pulled me away. "Wait, my cake." I'll buy you a bakery later, he said, pulling me along, his grip firm but gentle. I was mad, pouting, shocked, nervous, confused, wondering what was about to happen. He silently drove. Are you so mad you're taking me to some quiet place, maybe a jungle, to kill me? I blurted out. He let out a deep breath, like he knew I'd say something like that. Even that exasperated breath looked kind of fond. Suddenly, he stopped the car. Got out. I sat confused until I saw him walk into a nearby cafe. He returned with a big cute pastry box full of shortcakes, different flavors. My eyes sparkled. He handed it to me and I instantly dug in. Is this really for me? I asked, chewing happily while he drove. By the time we reached my house, I'd finished 3 cakes. He was quiet. He hadn't said anything at all. I stepped out of the car. He still didn't speak. I sulked a little, waiting. Still nothing. I walked toward the door, still hoping, and then I saw his hand gripping the steering wheel tightly. Then suddenly, he got out, slammed the door, walked toward me. Wait. His voice was full of things I couldn't even name. He came closer, his eyes on me, almost desperate, overwhelmed. And without another word, he hugged me. A tight hug, like he was testing it, like holding me was the only way to confirm everything he'd been feeling. He let out a breath, relieved, happy. I'm sorry, he whispered. I was shocked. Xander Cross was apologizing. He looked into my eyes, holding my face gently, so gently. His eyes were filled with something I hadn't even seen when I was dressed as a girl. All those emotions, raw and real, as if seeing me as myself, Ronnie, didn't change anything at all. I shouldn't have left you like that day, and I regretted it instantly. He laughed softly. Since that day, I haven't slept properly. You're in my dreams every night. I was feeling same things as I felt before, but now it felt more new, more good. Then I realized. He smiled. A real, soft smile. It doesn't matter whether you're a girl or a boy. I want you the same. I can't stop, and I don't want to stop. I still want you. My heart pounded. My eyes widened. My mouth dropped open. He chuckled. You're still adorable. Then he leaned in and kissed me. Soft, passionate, full of feelings. I panicked. Wait, do you know who you're kissing? I pulled away, staring at him. Yes, I do. He smiled. That's why I want to kiss you. Because you're you, Ronnie Jets. A guy the first was born for. A guy who was born just for me. His words left me speechless. Then he kissed me again. Tears filled my eyes as I kissed back, my lips meeting his, my first kiss with him, as me. He deepened the kiss, tasting the sweetness of the cake I had eaten, not getting enough of me. My knees weakened. I held onto him, forgetting I had the cake box, until it dropped to the floor. Ah, my cakes, I yelped, mad, sad. He laughed. Didn't I say I'll buy you a bakery? He kissed my forehead while I sulked. Just then, a cab stopped behind his car. Of course, the drama queens, Rihanna and Sarah. Looking at you two, seems like everything's fine now, Rihanna said. Yes, my ship has sailed, Sarah squealed. Xander's soft expression vanished instantly. They exchanged devilish smirks. Xander, darling, Rihanna said, eyeing him, we're planning a girls' night out, but cabs are boring. Let's make a deal. Give me your car and I'll give you this house and my brother all to yourself for the night. What? I blinked. Before I could protest, Xander casually tossed his car keys to Rihanna. She squealed like a bunny and the two drove away. Xander, your car. I was cut off when he opened the door and pulled me in. Wait, I'm sure she'll destroy it. You think I have only one car? He said nonchalantly, eyes dark, all focused on me. Terrified, excited, I couldn't think anymore. He kissed me, deep, hungry. Closing the door behind us. That night, he showed me how much he loved me. Every inch of me. Because it was me. As long as it was me. That's all that mattered. He loved me, unconditionally. 1 month later, and not even once did Xander give me the chance to doubt him. That man, God, he had me locked in like I was the only thing holding the earth in place. His eyes, always on me. His mind, definitely wired around my every move. And personal space, what's that? I couldn't even breathe next to another human being without getting glared into oblivion. And yes, he did keep his word. He bought me an entire bakery. Not a cake, not a dozen, a whole freaking bakery. Honestly, at this point I was getting tired of cakes. If there was a prize for spoiling someone to the point of insanity, Xander Cross would win it blindfolded, backwards, in heels. Now, In class for some reason I didn't understand, we were gathered again. Rihanna and Sarah had summoned all of us, Jay, Jonathan, me, and of course, Xander, whose face was the picture of calm but whose hand under the table was very much not. Resting firmly on my thigh, tracing circles and drawing nonsense letters that only he understood. And I was blushing like an idiot. So what's the big reveal? I asked, half annoyed, half worried she'd say something outrageous. Rihanna beamed like she'd won a lottery. I've got another drama planned, she declared with the same tone someone uses to say, I just adopted a dragon. And guess who the leads are going to be? Her grin was evil. Of course you too. Sarah jumped in before anyone could answer. But this time, it's a BL drama. A love story between two boys, Rihanna said dreamily. The struggle, the beauty, the forbidden romance, it's so raw and real, it'll be our best drama yet. Jay burst out laughing while Jonathan sighed so hard I could see him reevaluating all his life choices in that moment again. I was still trying to process that when I felt Xander shift beside me. I turned my head to look at him. No one else noticed, but his gaze had softened. That special kind of softness he reserved just for me. The world's most dangerous romantic. Good, he whispered only for me, a smile playing on his lips as he took my hand under the table and laced his fingers with mine. Now I finally get to act again, with you. As you. And just like that, he brought my hand to his lips and kissed the back of it. I flushed so hard, I could hear Rihanna faintly saying something dramatic, but I wasn't listening anymore. Because this time, I wasn't pretending. This was real. I was me, and he was him. And that was enough for our story to begin, again.